We've got Tracy on the line now. Hi, Tracy.
Hiya.
So, OK, this is from a slightly different angle on this one. Your mum was in a care home and you became concerned because you saw bruises on her.
Yes, that's right. Unfortunately, she's not with us anymore. But this was 5 years ago, and there was bruises on her. She had stitches in her face. And they just kept saying to me, oh, she fell out of bed onto a crash mat, and just giving me all different excuses. And I went to the council, and they investigated it. They looked through her care plan book. None of it was documented. And they just kept giving me excuses. I used to bring her home weekends, and she'd beg me not to complain to the carers. So she never said anything went on when I took her back.
Do you think she was scared if you
said...
said...
She was very scared. She'd cry all the way back to the home.
Oh, that's awful.
It's difficult
and,
if you're...
She ended up in hospital. She wasn't well one night. I went to see her, and I asked them to call the doctor. They wouldn't call the doctor. Well, 3 o'clock in the morning, I got a phone call. She'd been rushed into hospital. And then after her stay in hospital, which was 3 weeks, I just brought her home, where she died eventually.
Oh, I'm so sorry. That's a horrible story. But what do you do if the person who is in the care home says you absolutely mustn't tell anybody about this? And I think a lot of older people would say that.
I think some other people will. The first thing I would say is that it's an awful experience for Tracy to go through as well. So I would be seeking support. And there's lots of organisations out there, like Independent Aid, like Action on Elder Abuse, who can support someone through this sort of problem and talk them through it and give them advice about how to treat it. Ultimately, we have to respect what the older person is saying. But if you think a crime is happening, I think that's a really difficult scenario, and I think I would find it personally extremely difficult not to report it if I thought that this sort of neglect or abuse was taking place.
There's a lot of... If you go through those proper channels, a lot of care homes will listen because sometimes the governing body is not aware what's happening on the ground, and we've said a number of times that there are many fabulous care homes. From the story that we had on earlier on, Vivian Birch, who's the Director of Quality for Bupa Care Services, says the actions of the individuals that were involved in that story that we told at the beginning of the programme, totally unacceptable. We immediately removed from the home, have since been formally dismissed. We were shocked and saddened by the footage that we saw, deeply sorry that this happened and the distress that this has caused the family. We're proud of the care our staff provide and do not tolerate behaviour like this in any of our homes. So it is worthwhile complaining. Unfortunately, you never want your final complaint to end up being on the telly, because that's the only way something gets done.
That's right. There are brilliant homes, and you can find good homes. It can be difficult, but again, charities like us and other people will help you find a good home to begin with, and help you ask the sorts of questions that you need to ask in order to understand whether this is the home for your mum or your dad.